Mark Peacock's my name, and I've been doing public safety, personal injury matters for the last 34 years throughout all of California. So there's really three kind of takeaways or three things I'd like to emphasize. Number one, any on-duty injury environment. You get injured on duty if it's a vehicle accident, if you get assaulted, shooting going down, anything like that, you're going to automatically have a workers' comp, the process with all that. But at the same time, I encourage you to ask questions and be aggressive about asking whether or not there's a third party. There's somebody else or some corporation or something that could be responsible for that particular injury. I personally don't do comp, and the benefits are shrinking. So everything gets denied. You jack up your knee, you jack up your neck, your back or something like that, things get denied, and it takes forever to get treatment and things like that. Those are the stories, I'm hearing like constantly. In a vehicle accident, if you're rolling code, this is a typical one. If you're rolling code, lights and sirens are going, you come up to an intersection or something like that, and you get everybody to stop at the intersection. There's always one knucklehead listening to like Motley Crue or something on their AirPods, and they don't hear it. They don't see you, and they go in and you T-bone them, or they T-bone you or something like that. The TCR will put the cause of the accident on the officer. When that happens, the officers typically go, oh, I don't want to get an IA going or anything like that. I just want this to go away. I don't want to get in trouble. And if they get hurt, they're just relying on the workers' comp system. They don't want to cause any problems or anything like that. So they quietly kind of go away, allow it to just sort of run its course, if you will. If you get really badly injured, guess what? The chances of getting some money from that other driver's insurance is very, very good. Insurance companies, they're intimidated by public safety, especially in personal injury environments. They don't like to go in front of a jury typically, so they will resolve cases quickly or appropriately. You want to make sure that the attorney that you're hiring to help you on that knows public safety. You guys have little nuances about your employment stuff that the typical attorney may or may not really understand. They don't understand workers' comp, they don't understand CalPERS, retirement programs, they don't understand 4850 time. You also want to make sure to take a look at your own policy. Okay, so even if it's on duty and you get in a vehicle accident and the other driver has some insurance, you get taken care of with workers' comp, the other driver pays up, gives you a little bit of money, your own insurance could very well kick in and apply. And there's a benefit on your own policy called uninsured and underinsured. That's the twist on it. It's not expensive. I have 500 grand on my own. I think it's like 18 bucks a month. And what that benefit is that it covers you. Okay, it doesn't cover the other guy. So most people think of insurance like, hey, if I get in an accident, I don't want them to take my house or something like that. This insurance money will go to pay the other guy. But that benefit, uninsured and underinsured, that's to cover you. I hear about OT all the time. You guys think of overtime almost as part of your salary. So some of the departments have mandatory overtime. I don't know if you guys have that or not, but if you get injured on duty, you're not going to get overtime compensation and workers' comp. Okay, so if you get hurt, you bang up your knee, jack up your neck or something like that, you're not going to get compensated for that workers' comp. The only place that you can do that isn't what I do. It's civil litigation. The other driver, that insurance, that could be overtime money right there. That uninsured, underinsured benefit I'm talking about, and the overtime can be quite large. How you measure the overtime, you go back 3 years and you average it out. And you go, okay, this is what this officer is missing per month or per week or per quarter, whatever the time frame is. What I do is I do everything by contingency fee. So if there's any consultation, that's all free. And it's all the traditional third. If there's a particular environment or anything like that, there's an adjustment that's made. If you go out and you price it out in the open market right now, like Sweet James, they're 45%. That's what you see in the open market. That's a good question. That's going to be a mix, probably more likely not between workers' comp and PI or personal injury. But yeah, I sue the municipalities all the time. Just to give you an example, I represent, he was an El Monte police officer. He was responding to a DV call and he took a round in the head and was killed instantly. I represented the family. We sued Gascon. He's the DA. And trust me, there was a lot of hard feelings going on. And we sued the department, the DA's department, and a couple other departments underneath his umbrella. So yeah, you go after it. If you have an incident in a court, if you're a sheriff deputy in a court and something happens, the counties could be responsible. That would be a potential defendant in the state of California. If I understand you correctly, if you're in a state of California, let's use that, building, and you're doing something and something happens that possibly the state of California is responsible for, yeah, you sue them. The point with all that, by the way, is you have to be aggressive. Nobody's going to come calling to hand you a freebie, or especially nowadays with money. Okay, it just doesn't happen. I have a Long Beach police officer. He worked down near the port in Long Beach. He gets involved in a vehicle accident, gets pinched by a truck, 2 shoulder surgeries and a pelvic surgery. He has it going on for a year. He retires out. It's workers' comp. He has no idea that he could sue the guy who hit him, the truck. So he calls me and I go, well, what's going on? He goes, I got hit. So I see the police report. I'm like, oh my God, this happened like a year and 2 months ago. He goes, I've already filed for retirement. It's going to get accepted and I'm done. I'm like, okay, but that's just the beginning. You not only get your retirement, you get your CalPERS stuff, your benefits, and guess what? The company, they've got $20 million worth of insurance or something. There's a lot more money for you, your wife, and your 2 kids. So boom, that's how you handle it. Well, I do, but that's workers' comp. I do it because they benefit typically, or they support the injury environment an officer is going through in the civil matter. So a lot of times, like those motor vehicle accidents, you have 2 things going on, workers' comp and civil. That's what I do. So the QMEs or AMEs or whatever they are, they help, or hopefully they help, or support the injury sort of profile. You want to make sure your personal injury attorney, if you get in a vehicle accident specifically, and the workers' comp attorney are working in concert. Because if they don't represent public safety and they see a big injury environment, guess what Sweet James's kind of guys do? They just see the finish line. They just want to get the money. If they get the money, they put it in your hands, that might negatively affect your workers' comp. And then suddenly you don't get benefits because the city or the county or the state, depending on your employer, they get a credit. And suddenly, because they're not coordinating with each other, you get screwed. They just run away with the money and you're left without the benefit. So you want to make sure that whoever's helping you out, that they have some familiarity with public safety. Super, super important.